Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Heat Army podcast. What a difference a week makes. I think we've said that quite a few times over the years, but it really has this week. 2 great wins on the road. And as I say, hopefully we can bring that forward into the weekend. We're going to be talking about all that tonight, of course, with everything else that's in between. It's been an absolutely fantastic week. But before we go any further and bring on everyone in, we are obviously thankful to our sponsors, Northern Print Solutions, and our partners at Hope and Glory. And of course, we spoke to them last week, and we'll put the QR code up if you haven't already got your merch. So I'll bring the boys in now, and we're joined by Mark as well. Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Yeah,
we're actually happy for a change.
It is a stark contrast to last week. Of course, we're on the back of 2 defeats, tight games, but still defeats. But then we move forward here, and I'm not going to say completely comfortable, but games where we've been out in front, kept the lead, and brought home the 6 points ultimately now, and carrying that forward into another team that's in the lower reaches of the National League. You've got to take the confidence into that. And, we were talking last week saying that maybe 6-7 points from the next possible 12 would be a good return. Well, we've already hit that target more or less, and really, you got to go into that Boston game believing you can get the next 3.
Yes, open. Depends on the injury front, really, doesn't it? So,
well, that is the thing. Of course, on Tuesday night, we did see Jacob Butterfield leave field of play at half time. I think that's probably just more him getting up to speed, after the injury, and protecting him, of course, when you're 4-0 up at half time, when you can rest a player, I suppose. And of course, Kent Richardson took a knock towards the middle of the second half, and we've seen him leave the field of play, and that's a little bit worrying because at the back we're not exactly blessed in depth. We've been a small squad, so fingers crossed on that front. But Mark, I think the last time we had you on, I think we were on the back of an awful defeat, one of the early ones in the season. But obviously you haven't been to games of late, but watching from the outside, it's a nice turnaround, isn't it?
I will say it was through illness why I wasn't there. Not it wasn't avoidance, by the way. Been a bit rough over the last sort of 10 days or so, but good to be back. Look, we were just talking before we started recording, and I think my last game was the Altrincham game, which kind of had echoes of Southend on the first day of the season, where tackles weren't being made and passes weren't, basic passes weren't being made, and there didn't look a lot of cohesion between the side, between the players. But then you look at what's gone on in the last 2 games, and you could probably argue in Halifax and Hartlepool there were contributing factors to those defeats as well. But there has been a marked improvement, I think, over the last four games, in particular the last 2. We always knew that they needed experience in midfield. Edwards coming in and obviously Butterfield come back to fitness, or working his way back towards full fitness, I should say, was always going to be a massive boost. We said from the summer that experience will bring on the young lads that will help them settle into the National League. I don't think anyone should get carried away yet. One of the things I think you find, and I'm not trying to put a dampener or anything here, but I think one of the things you find with young players is there can be that inconsistency, and that may well happen throughout the season, not just the next week. But there's no doubt, and Saturday presents a great opportunity to continue what's been a fantastic week for the club, an unbelievable week to be fair, and it's an opportunity that they can't waste, hopefully in front of a good crowd.
Yeah, as I say, hopefully the crowd can pick up. It's an early kickoff, so if there is any people that want to go and see another game, they can. There'll be a local game that can pick up. And hopefully, I think Newcastle are playing on the weekend as well, on the Sunday, onto if the Champions League exploits through the week. Hopefully that can help us just push up towards that, 4-figure crowd and over that, especially in the home end. I know we had a big crowd against Hartlepool, fantastic away following, but we need to get the home following up, and the lads are playing well enough to deserve it now. So hopefully you can get along to that, everybody. Just a couple of players want to point out. I know I mentioned it the other week. I thought Connor Panny had a couple of decent games. He's went on, part of the winning squad on Saturday, and then on Tuesday night, Two beautiful goals for two different reasons. I think the first one was my personal favourite because I thought he showed that he's a bit of an experienced player now. He's played a lot of games. When he took that little side step to get himself the space, the defender had no chance, and he just got stroked into an empty net. And the second one, well, you felt he was going to hit it when it first come to him, but then he got another chance, and outside of the boot into the back of the net, it was a fabulous strike.
Certainly was.
I've got the games lined up actually, so I'll put the we'll put the Saturday one on in the background while we're talking.
Someone asked on Tuesday night, is Panny our longest serving player?
I think he might be.
He will be. He will be.
So obviously went down to Braintree at the weekend, who have been a bit of form themselves, but they come up against Gateshead, and it wasn't the greatest game for them. But we're passing the ball around well. We've got Ben Williams, of course, heavily involved, man of the match. And, we're starting to see more from Connor Chapman, as we've seen that on Saturday. Saturday and on
Tuesday.
But, it just, as Mark said, we haven't turned the corner just yet, but it's lovely signs, isn't it? And to see Kane Adam as well, who's in contention for Player of the Month as well, he's just, there's a lot of positives around, but we know it's not the final product.
Not at all. But I see Kane Adams been nominated for the National League's Player of the Month, hasn't he?
He has, yeah.
He's on fine form, isn't he? He took his goal well. I mean, he's not out centre forward, but he's taking his chances and leading the line. Some great football here, by the way. Some great football by Gateshead.
Yeah, it has. It just seems that we're starting to, as I say, they're finding themselves in around the box, and that man there, Frank Nublet, he's a lovely finish. He's doing a lot of the dirty work, and I hope it's in the highlights that we'll see on the in the Morecambe game as well. The way he's holding it up. I think there was one in the second half where he had 2 or 3 players hanging off the back, and he just stroked the ball to a teammate, and you're like, wow, and it's that kind of thing that was missing a little bit earlier in the season. That little bit of strength, a little bit of grit and determination, and he's doing it there, just holding up his body. And
this move, by the way, this was like Gateshead of old, isn't it? Yeah, sort of, that would have fitted in well a few years back. The passing movement.
The thing I was saying to Dave, I think it was last night we're chatting, wasn't it? That goal there, and particularly the one on Tuesday, Panny's first one. If they were scored under, say, Mike Williamson or Rob Elliott, we'd be talking about them loads, and talking about the style of playing. There'd be all sorts of praise flying around. And look, I've made this point a few times recently. I wrote a non-league paper column on it that non-league football as a whole, I realise we're just talking about Gateshead, but it kind of deserves a bit more credit than it gets, because this sort of thing, and I saw similar last week at South Shields, it's happening more and more, and particularly the goal on Tuesday night, Panny's first one, I thought was an incredible goal. Just the passing, the moving, the finish, it was just exceptional, absolutely exceptional.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about non-league getting maybe not as enough credit as it is. I think we talk about trickle-down economics with financial aspects, but now we're seeing the knowledge come down the levels. That coaches are going down the levels. I mean, look at Mark Hughes, he was a Premier League manager and international manager, and now he's in the National League and coaching. I mean, the knowledge is coming down, and the style of play has been adapted, hasn't it? And players, I think the cloggers of old maybe aren't going to play at the higher level of the National League.
Possibly doing a bit of disservice to old players there, Dave, but fair enough.
We're not comparing apples to apples, but take with the old argument, if you put a boxer from 50 years ago over one now, would there be, with the training differences and things like that? But we are seeing a lot more technical. I mean, that's a lovely touch there from their number 21. But yeah, I mean, I think we are seeing a step up in the quality of the National League and the leagues below.
Yeah, I think you're right. In a roundabout way, you've got to get in there. I think when you look at it, it's really interesting the way the non-league game has changed in the last sort of few years because of, and I still say the top end of the the sort of pyramid has changed what's going on, particularly Pep Guardiola. I mean, can you imagine even 10 years ago watching a non-league team play out from the back? It just didn't really happen, did it? Let's be honest.
No.
And
not really.
I'll tell you some other change as well is the league now. It's a full-time division. Back in the 90s, there was like 3 or 4, maybe 5 sort of full-time clubs at the top. Rest were part-time, and it's just gradually sort of changed from that point of view as well.
Well, as I say, Tuesday night we got off to a flyer with that rocket of a shot.
What a goal!
Archie Mayer didn't have a chance with that one, but it's another player that I think a lot of people got criticism of early doors of Jacob Chapman, and I think obviously he come in a little bit later in the pre-season, and we're seeing the real Jacob Chapman now. The Jacob Chapman that was part of the championship winning side at Barnet. The great quality on the ball, and setting up goals as well. But I mean, the whole squad, I think it was the way they're passing the ball, the movement. We didn't have that in the early games of the season, and then as soon as Adam was through, you thought he was going to score on that one. It was just the way he ran onto it, his composure. Yeah, I mean, I know we're jumping about here a lot because obviously we're talking about things in front of us, but Kane Adam as well. I mean, from where he was this time last year, not involved in the squad. Basically bombed out, sent out on 2 loans to the player we've got now, who everyone's talking about, 3rd top goal scorer in the league, and talked about for player of the month. And I've noticed his representatives are putting his videos up like mad on Instagram and things like that. He will have eyes on him, but he's worked hard for it.
Yeah, he was being played at right wing back. That tells you everything you need to know, really, doesn't it? So,
yeah, but he when he first stepped into the club, he come from Welling. It was part time, and that step up. It took him a good year to sort of convert to full time football. Great goal, by the way.
Yeah,
good goal, and and he's just kicked on, hasn't he? And he sort of seems happy. He's definitely bulked up a bit, and he's got the pace, and he's producing the goods. He's been asked to play centre forward, almost a centre forward, and he's risen to the challenge.
He has.
He's been outstanding, to be fair.
Been outstandanding, yeah. My player of the season, but anyway.
I mean, there's a lot of players across the park that have really stepped it up. I thought Fenton John had a fantastic game as well. It was a team performance, and in that goal there, you're seeing Chapman coming in from out wide, and he's the man ghosting in the centre. They're covering each other's runs. There's a lot of work went on training ground there. You can see, and it's paying off.
By the way, lads, obviously you've got, between us, we've got lots of experience and knowledge of football. Can anyone ever remember being like 4 goals up after just 12 minutes?
No.
Any game, not just Gateshead, just any game.
Newcastle did against Tottenham, didn't they, a couple of years ago?
Was that when it was 6-0?
It was 6-1, I think, or 5-1 it finished, but they were
4-1, yeah.
Did he score 4 earlies, did they?
Yeah, well, I think they scored 5 in 20.
Wow.
So if anything, Gateshead have failed on Tuesday night. So,
it didn't feel like a failed, trust us.
I'll tell you just a quick one. So we got back from my son's football training session, sat down for tea, and it clicked on to about 7:45, and he was in the living room. I was in the dining room finishing tea, and he came through and he went, "It's 1-0 Gateshead," and I was like, "It hasn't even kicked off yet." And he's like, no, it's just kicked off. They've scored, and then sort of went back in the living room, came through. It's 2-0, and I was like, "Don't take the mick. Like, come on. Like, there's literally 2 minutes gone here. Like, it can't be 2-0." Yeah. And this kind of repeated itself again and again and again. And it's like, right, okay, this could be something very interesting. But I mean, look, it's a dangerous game at Morecambe because they've obviously. There's relief there, isn't there? That what's happening. Yeah. Nobody wanted them to go under. The way it was done was awful, and because of that, they're on a bit of a high. They've got a new manager in there. They've got definitely a new squad. They made some eye-catching signings. Obviously, Rolando Aarons has just signed, former Newcastle player. So that's a dangerous game. It's one where Gateshead could have gone there and got rolled over quite easily. So to do what they did. It's a remarkable win. It could go down as one of the most important of the season.
Yeah.
Well, I got told before the game had even kicked off on the it was Saturday when I was watching the game at Braintree. One of my mates turned around. He's Nathan's mate's a Halifax fan, and he turned around and says the Halifax fan had said they're really good going forward, but they're absolutely crap at the back, and we just carved them up and so easy. I mean, there was some of them saying he's got a gun. The manager, he's out of his depth.
Yeah,
saying like he's played really well.
The amount of players that they've signed, I think this is probably the longest they've went in the last 5 weeks without signing a player.
Wow.
And I know that sounds sarcastic, but it's actually probably the truth. Obviously they signed Aaron's last week.
Bodies on the line there for that defending was good.
Well, that's the thing. If 4-1 up, they're still battling, throwing themselves in front of it, and their goal as well. If you've watched it, it bounced lovely for them. The way it bounced, the defenders didn't really have much of a chance the way it bounced up, but it was a good finish nonetheless. But I mean,
this is the goal. I love this goal. I just absolutely love it.
Top of the shoulders, and it goes. Oh,
beauty! And then you can see Mickey just at the top of the screen there.
There's Mickey dancing in there. We're looking for you, Mickey.
I tell you what, if you've ever seen 10, where Bo Derek and Dudley were running each other's arms on the beach, when the third goal went in, that was me and Stuart.
Which one of you had the dreadlocks?
I've got the probably bigger tits than Stuart, so that'd be me.
I thought you were going to say Derek there.
But one of the funniest things I saw when it went 4-0 up, I saw Mark tweeted out this owl, which is a stunned face, and I thought, that probably sums it up.
I'll say it's one of my favourite gifts, if I'm honest.
But having said that, right, lads, it's funny, isn't it? Football fans are a funny thing. I'm quite fickle and all the rest of it. But even at 4-1 up, you're still worried. We're still worrying at half time. There it is.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those ones, wasn't it, where you've effectively won the game after, 12 minutes. I know it's a daft thing to say, but unless you really muck up, it wasn't going to give them, a real run back in. Obviously, they got that one back there, and no real worry about it. But you were like, it would have been nice to have kept it to 1 or even a clean sheet. But it was a nice finish. But it was good game management. We had obviously Butterfield off at half time. We took
Grayson went off,
Richardson off as well.
Yep.
I think we got through it, and the players that maybe aren't the ones in the start lineup come on and held their own, and that's what as we mentioned before, what Alan Armstrong said before the season. Young players are going to have to come in and step up, and they're learning on the fly. Yes, we're going to have games where they might make a mistake and cost us a goal, maybe cost us a game, but they're going to do performances like that. And I think Mark said it best before. They are inconsistent, and we've got to be realistic about what the squad is at the moment.
Sorry, mate. I honestly think, and I truly mean this, that if Alan can keep this squad up this season, or the squad can keep the club in the National League, after everything that went on second half of last season, and everything that went on during the summer, and all the changes, and everything, they're putting together a squad pretty quickly with a new manager and such like, I think keeping the club in the National League will be a bigger achievement than winning the FA Trophy or winning the National League North. And I firmly believe that.
Wow.
I've known Alan for best part of 10 years now as a manager, and I always felt he would do something at Gateshead. I mean that, like the way he is with players, his knowledge of the game. I always felt as if he would have a right good go keeping the club in the league. And I think there's just got to be, and I know people get sick of me saying this, there just has to be a little bit of patience at times, because with a young squad, with so many players in the squad, with such a threadbare squad as well, by the way, there are going to be ups and downs. It's a massive learning curve in this league, and there just has to be patience. The lads will get there, 100% will get there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've got a message here. Heat on me, Adams, but still, unfortunately, can't keep a clean sheet. I'd rather never keep a clean sheet and win than 0-0 draw, keep the best defence in the league. look, it's we've got to play with what we've got, and and hopefully clean sheets will come. Panny is striker on Saturday. Who knows? He's given Kane a run for his money. We got 4 up after 12 minutes, but couldn't relax till the 5th went in to Gateshead.
Yeah, we were the same.
We've got
well, you're at the game, and you think when they get one back in the first half, you think if they get one early, yeah, we could be under the cosh. Yeah.
Well, you think that, as Mark alluded to before, that there is a belief in a. Obviously, I know results haven't went their way in recent games, but there is a wind of change at Morecambe, and you think the good crowd in there, they get one back quickly, they might be able to push it on, and thankfully for us, they weren't able to do that. But we've got, obviously, I think there was a message earlier on, I think I put up about the old farts at they were up till 1 o'clock in the morning in the Wetherspoons singing.
Is that right, Mickey?
I wasn't. I was firmly in bed by 1 o'clock. I can tell you
and it was great to hear On the Trail of the Lonesome Pine being sang, which with such passion and gusto.
Yeah, we heard it on the TV, Stephen.
We could hear that, and then Steve sent another message here about where is it? 1 second, I'll find it. There's that many come in. Who needs Eric and Ernie when you've got Stan and Ollie? And
exactly.
On the Eric and Ernie thing, we've got there we go. We've got and Eric there, and then there he is with the Heat Army podcast jacket on. But
that was great to see one of the greatest comedy minds in the world at the moment, isn't it? Alongside that guy who used to be on telly a bit.
Yeah.
You're so kind, Mark. And I bullshit when I see it now. I'll tell you I've got to say this. I went to Morecambe's ground today because I was looking for a programme. Apparently they only do online ones, but the goalkeeper coach was in his car and he got out the car and he says, "Can I help you, lads?" I said, "I was looking for a programme, but apparently they only do online ones." And he says, "Give us a look. I'll go and if you just wait there, I'll go." He went into the ground and see if anybody had actually printed one off to give us one. So Jonathan Stewart, the goalkeeper coach, thank you very much for trying. It was.
Who did he play for? Jonathan Stewart?
I don't know. I think he was at Buxton for a while. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So, but
Matlock. I think he was in Matlock as well.
Rings a bell. Yeah. Sure, he was a stalwart at one of them. He was there for a good while. The name really rings a bell.
But the Morecambe fans were really. I mean, they were, even though they'd been beaten and were calling their own club worse than what you're going to do if you get beat 5-2 at home.
Yeah.
Well, they come out and said, "Well done, lads." Says we couldn't believe how good we'd heard you were crap, and then you come here and you played some really good football.
Yeah.
And even Jonathan Stewart turned around today and says you've got some really good young players there.
Yeah.
Really quick.
You've lined us up nicely for this. Of course, 3 academy players finished the pitch. 2, one with 2 goals. One was man of the match before the game before. Look, there was a lot of panic in pre-season. Or I say that in the hours after Alan was appointed, about saying, "Look, there's some decent talent there." He's obviously worked in the college system beforehand, and look, he handed out professional contracts to obviously Ben Williams and Lucas Lowry. Connor Panny already on a professional contract, and look, we have seen iffy performances, but from experienced players as well. It goes down as a team performance. But of late, we have spoke about it. They are stepping up, and I think it's just lovely to see the academy recognised here. The club putting that out. It's nice, and the boys are working hard, and not be just us that's noticing it, be other people that's noticing. Like you said, Jonathan Stewart said, there's some good players there. And it's a nice shot in the arm, isn't it? After everything we've went through, to be producing our own players relatively quickly.
I mean, on Tuesday, I've got to say it. Ben Williams come on, and he was pretty much faultless when he come on, and it was backs the wall for a long time in the second half. And Lucas Lowry's cameo was absolutely classy. The only thing he should have scored, but I'm not going to have a gun at him because he was absolutely class when he come on. And the two of them, Connor Panny's getting a couple of good I absolutely love it when we get young lads from the academy come through and they make it in the first team. I hope they get on from strength to strength. I really do.
Definitely.
Well, if you look back, and I know we talk about this team with some reference, don't you? When you look at the sort of first season, the season before everything went a bit skew with, when the likes of Greg Ollie were there, but you forget the likes of Elliot Forbes, Tom White, made themselves established members. John Mellish made themselves established members of the team after coming through the academy. Now, this crop, I'm not going to put the weight on their shoulders of comparing them to those lads, because that's really unfair, because you're talking about genuine, Football League players. Well, some, either have been or went on to be. But nobody knows these young lads more than Alan Armstrong, because he's worked with them in the academy. And if he thinks that Lucas Lowry, that players like him can flourish in the first team if given a chance, and if they're eased in and not just thrown at the deep end, which, let's be honest, some lads have been in the past. I think you've got to give Alan, you've got to give the lads, and you've got to give the club a bit of credit for that, because I know it hasn't come in great circumstances, but we know from last time, when it was Mellish, when it was Tom White, when it was Elliot Forbes, that you can make something of it. It's an opportunity. It's down to the players to take it.
Yeah, without a doubt. Of course, there was the FA Cup tie as well. The fourth round qualifying. Gateshead are in that lovely northern town of Everley, which I think is one of the ones that got through the cracks. I don't know how they thought they could put that in the northern draw, but here it is. We go down there. Of course,
all the way to Essex.
Yeah, I think
it's great to get a local derby, though, isn't it? Come on.
It is. Yeah. It's not even a commute, is it? But I mean, I think I'm right in saying we're Everley relegated last year from the National League South, and they're mid-table at the moment.
Yeah,
just below.
Yeah, but
it's a good draw for us.
It's the FA Cup. I always go back to who was it? There was Kingsgrove. Was it they knocked us out when we went there thinking we could do it? So we're going to have to be on with we're best.
We're metal.
But I think the club will. The club need to, and I think that the managers even said that in talks with that Mark hosted that. The FA Cup is very important this year financially for the club.
Of course it is.
So we've got to go there. It's not the best draw for travel, but it's not a bad draw in the scheme of things.
On paper, it's a good draw.
So hopefully,
to be fair, they've done well to beat Halesome, because Halesome are half decent size.
Oh, aye.
To be fair, so we've got to be on our metal on that day.
Well, we went to a similar standard last year. We went to Hendersford, didn't we? And we drew down there. We got away with it and brought them back up, and they turned us over up here. So yeah, we've got to be careful. But as you said, it's the money which it'll be an incentive for the club.
Rusty Squid has put how many of you guys are coming to Everley? I think there'll be a few. There's always the hardcore managed to make it to these games.
There's a bus on, isn't there?
I believe that the bus, if I'm right, obviously we'll advertise it on next year. I think it's £55 a head.
£50, I think, Davey.
36 on board, so hopefully they can. Apparently, Everley play on a plastic pitch as well.
Can we still call them plastic pitches? It's not quite QPR and Luton in the 80s,
Yeah.
I tell you what, we're showing my age there, Mark.
I know. Honestly, Mickey, as soon as I said it, I thought, my God, I sound like an old fogey.
When you see the bounce on that ball in them games, and then the burns that the players would get as well.
I tell you what, lads, just got a bigger picture on the FA Cup. Good draws for most of the Northeast clubs, and I've got to say, with a bit of luck, there'll be several of them into the first round. Because Mark will comment on it, because obviously you tweet out about it. But yeah, some good ties, winnable ties.
I would argue that every Northeast club in the fourth qualifying round can fancy themselves to get through. Yeah. I think Darlington, Spennymoor, South Shield certainly have all got home ties against lower division opposition. Not that means anything, but it does make you favourites. And then Gateshead, as you've said, they're playing a team from two levels lower. If the attitude's right, if the professionalism's right, then they should go through.
Yeah.
And I think Hartlepool go to Gainsborough, which the biggest gutter about that one is the fact that if Dunstan had turned over Gainsborough, we would have had Dunstan against Hartlepool, which would have been an unbelievable game.
That would have been.
Gainsborough's a hard place to go for Pools, mind.
Oh, it is. It is. But look, we're sat here now with a good chance of having 5 Northeast clubs in the first qualifying round. And I don't really remember the last time that happened.
And if that happens, what's the chances of the teams pulling each other out as well? Yeah.
But if I'm looking at it from a selfish point of view, from a media point of view, that would be unbelievable. One, because it would be a great occasion.
And someone will progress.
But 2, we're guaranteed someone in the second round. And look, I think from a Gateshead point of view, as I said, it's a banana skin of a game. Yeah. It's one of them where, look, all being well, if Gateshead play to their maximum and Averley play to their maximum, Gateshead should win. Yeah. And I don't think that's saying anything too outlandish to say that. Yeah. But if Gateshead drop their levels or something doesn't go their way in the day, then they could end up getting turned over. But the FA Cup this year, because of the finance involved, I think it's at $9,000 to win in the 4th qualifying round, with a chance of a first round tie against an AFL club, TV money. That could be absolutely vital for the club this year. We know what the financial situation is. We know that the club needs money from different sources. This could be one of the biggest money spinners they could find if they can get through this game. Yeah.
They won't get through and draw Cheltenham, because Cheltenham just kind of buy a win at the minute, don't they? Yeah. I would like Cheltenham at home.
I mean, obviously, we're not getting ahead of ourselves, but if Gateshead were to get in the first round, you either want the lowest ranked team at home, or you want to play against a club like like a Bolton or a Wigan or one of those massive clubs in League One now. So
Cardiff City.
Cardiff City. But draws. I think I'll tell you what the biggest one could be: Bradford. Yes. They've obviously, you look at what they brought up to St James's for the Carabao Cup game last week. Mm-hmm. I mean, an FA Cup game I would imagine it would be on telly, but you could still see them bringing up a few thousand. So anyway, but we are getting ahead of ourselves. You've got to focus on Averley, because it will be a tricky tie.
It certainly will. We've got a message. I put a message up from David Coates there before, but I didn't see his first message. But evening, gents. First time commenting on the show. Please do. If you're just like Dave, please send in your messages. It's what it's all about. Was it Morecambe on Tuesday evening? Thought Curtis Edwards was outstanding. Yeah, he's a great influence for us in the holding midfield role. And he had put this up because I refuse to call it the number 6 role, by the way. Number 6 is centre back in my day. I think number 5 and number 6 is your centre backs, isn't it? I think that's what that should be law. It really is. So what's it we got? Yeah, I said to Mickey on Tuesday, you could put money on the Heat having to travel to the moon in the FA Cup. Yeah, my journey consists of 2 trains, 2 tubes, and a taxi, and exactly the same round trip on the day. That must be to get to Averley. So it's not the local draw you would think. A few of us in the Legion, we made a racket. Obviously, they've been watching the game on Tuesday night. Let's just win the game first and worry about round-up opponents. Yes, I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
This might be the only time
we're allowed to dream.
Well, it might be the only time we're allowed to get excited about the FA Cup this season. There's too many times has that happened. But it really is an exciting time when the FA Cup comes around, and hopefully we can be fully involved in it. I did get a picture. I was going to do one more talk about Jacob Chapman there. Lovely picture of him after he scored his goal there. That was put up on the Gateshead social media. Goal, by the way. Oh yeah, and they say nice to give players plaudits when they deserve it, because we're all too eager to cast woes on the team when it doesn't go the other way. I think you got to do a thing. I'm number 5 and I'm a centre back, says Darcy. Good girl.
Nice one, Darcy.
Welcome,
Dave.
Yep.
Can I just point something out?
Yes.
Just because you've done it 4 times now.
What am I doing?
It's Harry Chapman.
What have I called him?
Jacob. Jacob, but I didn't want to be pedantic.
I don't mind being that guy.
I'd like to apologise to the Chapman family, especially Jacob and Harry. Too many players with the Chapman name. That's what it is.
He was a goalkeeper, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
It's Harry's brother.
No. I'd rather that you do it, and then I do and find out later on. So I think, well, why didn't someone tell us on that note? But also, remember, everybody, it is an early kickoff on Saturday. It's a 12:30 kickoff. It's the TV game, even though it's on. It's the game that can be watched live, even though it's still on a subscription. It's not on a channel, so to speak. So remember, get there nice and early for the game. And if you can't make it, of course, myself and Mark are providing full match commentary as well. So do tune in. The links are out on social media already. There's 2 games this week. Of course, Boston is the game on Saturday. Then Wednesday, the Durham Cup comes into play, and I would imagine that will be a very young team. Maybe college and maybe 1 or 2 first teamers that aren't getting a full amount of minutes needed to keep them fully fit will be involved in that one. And is that Durham United?
Durham United, yeah.
United, yeah.
Is that their new name? New form?
No, different club.
Different club?
Yeah, different club.
Sorry, Durham United.
Yeah, so Durham City's still about, but I don't know on what guys or what level have really followed them.
So Durham City are in the second tier of the Wayside League now.
Wow.
Whereas Durham United are actually, it's their first season as a Northern League club. So they got promoted as Wayside League champions last season, and are in the second tier of the
good luck.
tier of the Northern League this year. So it'll be a good test. It'll be a young side. I think there's a connection with Durham Uni. So I'd imagine the majority of players will be young sort of students or certainly young players. But they're more than capable of holding their own. I think they beat South Shields in the last round. I may be wrong, but I'm fairly certain they did beat South Shields in the last round. And obviously a young South Shields side as well. So there's clearly some talent there, and it'll be a good test for. I mean, we're saying a young Gateshead side. I mean, that could just be a first team side, really, this year. But no, it'll be a good chance for some of the academy lads to get some minutes and see what they can do, and hopefully catch Alan's eye.
Yeah,
the academy lads haven't been too shabby at all this season, anyway.
Are doing very well. Both the ladies' academy side as well have been winning games. Jack Robson, he's got his Saturday planned. He's going to Jarrow Seaham after on Saturday as well. So, and also if Storm Amy stays away, yes, I think there's a storm. It may come across, but I think it should be gone by Friday, early Saturday morning. I didn't see this one. Thank you, Josh, for sending this in. Josh Ewell, evening lads, saw that John Shaw hung up his boots last week.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he's got a coaching job.
Yeah.
Where?
Now, I want to say Dubai, but I may be wrong. But it's somewhere in Asia, so which I know isn't really narrowing it down to a massive continent.
Somewhere hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
what a player.
John's a great guy, one of the good guys in football, and someone who I've had dealings with throughout his time, whether it's at Gateshead, whether at South Shields or North Shields, where he finished his career, or anywhere when he's Spartans manager, and just a really great guy. Someone who there was no rubbish. He spoke, said it as it was, and that's all you can ask for, really.
Yeah.
Well, he rang me up on my 50th birthday to wish us happy birthday, and I hung up on him, said, "Bollocks off, this is wind up." He rang us back. It wasn't.
Well,
that must have been like 20 years ago, though, wasn't it?
I was going to say.
After your 30th.
I feel it, mate. I feel it.
I've got a lot of respect for John Shaw. I love him to bits.
Well, my everlasting memory will be the hat trick he got against York that night.
What a game!
Yeah, that was a fantastic game. When
he landed against the car.
Yeah, he scored. That was a good one.
The last minute winner of Dalton. Stuck out for me.
Oh, yes.
Saturday, someone else is saying, any idea on Newton? Still a little way away, I'm guessing. Well, I thought he'd been in contention to be on the bench on Tuesday night because he's going through.
Yeah, he was warming up.
But are you heard anything, Mark, on that front?
Yeah, I feel like I've been saying this for about 3 months now, but he's about 2 weeks away, I think.
Yeah.
In terms of getting towards maybe being contention for a start, but
yeah,
it's one of them. It's a horrible injury where I think any little sort of niggling setback can really set him back. So and I actually think Tyrell would fit perfectly in this side. I know he obviously had a bit of an up and down season last season, and the second half of the season was a real struggle. But I think that was maybe what was going on around him in the side. And, circumstantial. So I think there's clearly a very talented player in there, and a versatile player as well. And I think in the situation Gateshead are in, you can't really have enough of those.
Yeah, and also as well, someone's put, and how long for Max Melbourne out for? Don't know. And also Callum Johnson's been a miss as well, hasn't he? So there is a number of players still to come back into this team, and which will make it stronger. And on the back of that, will make the bench stronger as well. Because I think against Hartlepool, that was probably the bit that where we couldn't go to the bench to save the legs of a Butterfield, or a Joe Grayson. And so once that happened,
there's the frustration, isn't it? So you've got Melbourne, you've got Newton, you've got Telford to come back.
Yeah.
So when those three come back and you put them into the side, or certainly in the match day squad, all of a sudden Alan's got decisions to make. Now, look, it may well be that if knowing Gateshead, if someone does come back, someone else will pick up an injury. But if there is a situation where everyone is fit, then there's some big calls to be made. There really is.
Definitely. Well, we're going to get on to the prediction league, and I don't know, Mark, if you've been following from afar, but the prediction league has been very. It's been very
unpredictable.
It's been unpredictable, but it has been predictable. It has been predictable for one little girl, Darcy, who played her Super Joker and got 30 points the other week, and she's top of the league on 38 points. But Trina, she got her Joker in on Saturday, and she is in second place on 18 points. So she is catchable. But she still has 3 Jokers of her own left. Joshua is in third on 17. Then there's a little gap to Vanessa, then Johnny Gray, Mickey Barris, and me. We're all down there, and I can't see where Steely is. Oh, Steely's in 11th.
I jumped up because I predicted last Saturday's win, 2-1 win.
Yeah, so we've got that right. We've got some points. We have got in some messages here. We won a kids' ground. Oh, I think there's someone sent a picture of FA Cup picture there, Tracy. I would have got it up earlier if I had of. Sorry about that. Right, so predictions are coming in. Mickey, I'll let you go first this week.
Boston. I think this is a tricky one because I don't know who's going to play centre half. I'm just going to go the bog standard 2-1 Gateshead.
2-1 Gateshead. Are you hiding a Joker in, Mickey? Are you?
No, I'll keep me Jokers. I keep me Jokers for later on in the season.
No, I think this is a tougher game. We think Boston had a good point against Forest Green on Wednesday night. I think there's something about them. I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll be 1-1 on Saturday.
Well, I'm hoping there'll be goals in it. If we play like we did on Tuesday night, I'm going to go 3-1 win. Nice. I think it might be closer, but I'm just trying to catch Darcy. Would you like to put a prediction in, Mark?
I'm genuinely crap at predictions, mind. So,
most are. Look, none of us near the top of the league.
You won the league a couple of years ago, Mickey.
I get this all the time. My brother-in-law does this thing at work, or I don't know if it's with the bookies. He's not a football fan at all, but he gets asked to put it on every week and keeps coming to me for like advice. And I'm just like, please don't. Yeah. I'll go 2-2.
2-2. Well, on that note, Steve Farnfield has went 2-2 as well, weather permitting. The Walden have got theirs in. Relive, hope she's feeling better. Darren's going for a 3-1 win. Poppy a 3-1 win. Tabitha, she likes the big ones. Tabitha 5-1, and Joshua's going. Poppy's going 5-1. Tampa's, I'll get it out there, 3-2, and Joshua.
It's all there. You can see it.
It's all there. You can all see it. We'll go further down. Ken Webster's going 2-1 win to the Heed. Colin Scott is going for a few more goals. He's going for another 5-goal thriller, 3-2 to the Heed. We've got Trina is going 3-2 to the Heed as well. That may be the one to watch. She's in second. She knows her stuff. We're going 2-1 to the Heed, says Alan Guest.
Predictions as well.
Yeah, David Tron is going 4-2. Darcy is putting in both, but we're not going to put the Durham Cup in. We're just going to go for the Saturday. So she's going 2-1 on Saturday. Vanessa, she's up there in the league as well. She's going 3-0. Sean Parry 3-2. David Coates, of course, new to sending in messages, is going 1-1. The Rusty Squid is going 2-2. And 1 second, John Lewis always causes us problems. Yes, that's where Big Shop is now, isn't he?
Is that where he is he?
Yeah.
But by the way, sorry, seeing as I quite like weather, as you know, I have to follow it because of my job. But it's predicting about 53 miles an hour at kickoff on Saturday in Gateshead.
Wow!
The storm is really hitting on Saturday, but it's from the west. So will you get? Is that behind the town where you stand?
Yeah, but it's still going to whip round off the river, though, isn't it? So
yeah. It's going to be blustery. Let's put it that way.
It is. Roof is going 3-1. We've got 3-1. The Joker for St. Geordie, of course, last year's champion. The Duke, Nate O, is going 3-1 to Gateshead. Craig 3-2. Louise Dick 4-2 win. Johnny Gray 1-1. And Patrick Story is going 3-1 to Heed. Oh, no, that's Patrick's and Christopher's is 2-0. So, yeah, a lot of positivity about. Hopefully, we can keep that going.
Yeah,
I did see a message before from the Duke. I can't find it, but I think he said that they didn't relax until 88 minutes on Tuesday. So, yeah, typical fans, if you cannot relax when you're winning like that. But as I say, it should be a good one.
Football fans like that.
Please do. John Dick is going for a 3-1 win as well. You've still got time to get your predictions in. Please do. If there's anything else anyone would like to send in, you've got the time to do it now. Is any other business, boys? Is there anything that we might have missed this week?
I want to go to the evening party. It sounds like it's at Mark's place. Mark, are you having an evening party? Who's got the background noise?
Yeah, we've got the mother-in-law around, so yeah. It's not quite a party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mark.
on that, on other business, if any Gateshead fans fancy another game after Saturday's Dunstan are at home in the FA Trophy against Warrington Rylands. If anyone fancies a quick pop along to the UBS Stadium. Yeah. Two of 4 games I'm working this weekend.
Who's the manager? Who's the manager at Warrington now?
That's a good question. I should know stuff like this, shouldn't I?
They're doing well, aren't they? They're near the top of the pitch, aren't they?
Yeah. They're in the playoff places in the Premier Division, so it's a big test for Dunstan. Obviously, had a little bit of a disappointing week, losing against Gainsborough in the FA Cup last week, and then
well-being went to 3-1,
and then lost in the league in midweek as well. So it's been a difficult week for Dunstan.
Was that their longest trip of the season as well? On Lincoln
United, wasn't it? Yeah. So, look, I think with Dunstan, I've never hidden from the fact that I think John McDonnell's a brilliant manager. I think he's done a great job there, and they've been so unlucky not to get up into that Premier Division the last 2 years, losing playoff finals on penalties, and obviously with Gateshead fans, there's a lot of interest at Dunstan with the likes of Baxter and Turnbull and players like that who are there. JJ O'Donnell, yeah, of course. So it'd be great if weather permitting and if the wind blows you in that direction, if you would fancy going to the UBS Stadium and get behind Dunstan. Neil Reynolds, that's it.
Yeah,
nice one.
Yeah, Neil Reynolds,
former FC United and Manchester manager. Yeah, so as I say, a really good test for Dunstan. It'd be lovely to see a brilliant, a brilliant club, community club, getting support from Gateshead fans as well.
Will do. Also, as well, I can't remember if I mentioned this the other week, but you know, I don't know if congratulations is the right word, but you know, well done to Alex Francis on his career. Of course, unfortunately cut short of a bad knee injury, and seen the scar on social media. He's got quite the scar to show the grandkids when he's older. But as I say, he was still going strong. I think he was 35, 36, but still doing a fantastic job at Berkeley Town. And as I say, sad to see him, you know, his career end in that way. But we wish him all the best. A lovely lad. And yeah, it's a shame to see players when they come to the end of their career and doing. We've got a message here from, how's Will McGowan doing at the moment? I've seen the talk a few months back. Alan said he only had a few months till he was nationally quality. Just wondering how he's doing. Well, he scored the third goal on Tuesday night, didn't he? In the game when they won 3-1 against Fylde. So
I think with Dalton having a bit of a strange season where they haven't really got going in the league yet. But the FA Cup's obviously become a real source of positivity for them and got a good chance of getting the first round. And I think Will just needs game time. And, you know, hopefully he'll come back a better player whenever that is. So I think he's a real talent.
This season, sorry to cut over you, Mark. Can you see him come back this season? I can't.
Look, that's kind of open, isn't it? Because I don't think he will. But obviously, if Gateshead get injuries, then he'll be one that will bring back. So it'll probably depend on that. But as I say, I think there's a real talent there. Will McGowan, I think he's a midfielder that can play in a number of different roles.
Yeah.
So he would be useful. I think the right move was made for his career where he's at right now, that he goes out and gets game time instead of possibly sitting on the bench at Gateshead. His brother's a good little player as well, by the way. Ewan McGowan, he's at South Shields. He's just gone on loan to Blythetown. Looks a real player.
I wondered if they were related when I seen the name. My science teacher plays for Dunstan. Who's your science teacher? Who
yeah, I need to know who that is now.
Yeah, I seen the message and I was like, "Oh, who is that?" You know, Jack Robson's put apparently being outstanding at Darlow when I was speaking to Barrow. That was so. Yeah, good. That's what you want. You want the loans to work well for both the player and the clubs involved. So hopefully, you know, if he does come back, then you know he's a much improved player, and Dalton have benefited from the move themselves. And
how about when we get the FA Cup final, you'll not be able to play cup tied.
Yeah, I know. We've got David Coates has sent us another one. Gates are generally doing well away from home. Can we turn it around? Can we turn the home form around? Well, that's the big thing, isn't it? You want to do that, and you know that the home crowd do deserve a performance. You know, at home, because it has. I mean, not to sugarcoat it, there was a couple of dross games. You know, and the crowds have reflected that. Sadly, they have. People have voted with their feet, and you know, I think this. The crowd, the players deserve a crowd back now to show what they can do.
I think that the last two games, though, particularly Tuesday night, going and dominating in the way they did, and when clubs or sides come to the International Stadium, the focus is on Gateshead to take the game to them and dominate possession. And maybe Tuesday night might have just given Gateshead a bit more belief that they can do that they can get on the ball, they can dictate the game, they can take the game to the opposition. So hopefully that mindset from Tuesday night will go into Saturday. I realised the Braintree game was a little bit different, and it was kind of both sides of the Gateshead game where you need the the kind of positive front foot stuff to get ahead, and then defending more in the second half. But hopefully Tuesday will just give them a bit more belief they can play on the front foot and they can dominate possession.
Well,
one of my favourite moments, sorry, Davey, one of my favourite moments from the Braintree game was when there was that goal-mouth scramble. And out of nowhere, you've got Tian and Brooks come out and he looks as if he's holding like Simba up with the lion with the palm.
Well, the science teacher is Tom Devitt, who I don't think got a fair crack of the whip when he came to Gateshead. You know, I thought there was a better player in there than what we got to see.
Great lad too.
Yeah,
great lad.
I never seen him as a science teacher, mate.
Mark's just thinking of headlines now, for when he scores a goal, He's just...
I tell you what, you completely overplay my professionalism with that sort of
stuff. Fenton John looking really good as well. Yeah, look, confidence breeds from playing, and then when you start to get a little bit of form and the team as a whole plays better, players will be lifted up with that. And I think, Fenton John is that player. And I know Mark is probably going to jump in because you've seen him a lot last year at Morecambe, and you were always ranting about him throughout last season to me.
Ranting sounds a bit harsh. Ranting about him. Raving about him, yeah. Look, I think Fenton, when I watched him at Morecambe, and I'm always really careful of overplaying things because it is, 2 levels down from the National League, but he was producing the sort of performances where you thought maybe if he gets a chance, he can go a level or 2 higher. He's had a great grounding at Middlesbrough in their academy. We know what Middlesbrough's academy is like for producing players. And I think working under Alan, given that time and patience and the understanding Alan will have with him, there's a real chance that he could be a very, very good player for Gateshead. I think at the moment, he's kind of benefiting from playing alongside Butterfield and Edwards in midfield. And the longer that continues, I think the better player he'll become.
Yeah, definitely.
And, I genuinely like the lad. I think he's a good footballer, and that's not. I said that at the start of the season. I'm glad to have him back.
You can see he's flourishing. It's nice to see, much like Connor Panny. Mark, what games are you at this weekend? I might be at Blue Star tomorrow evening and Gateshead on Saturday.
Yeah, so Newcastle Blue Star tomorrow night. They play Horden Community Welfare in the Northern League Division 1. Horden having their first season in Division 1 and they're currently 3rd, I think they are. Can go 2nd tomorrow night. Having a great season, Blue Star. Just trying to find a bit of consistency in the league. Oh,
it must be about 20 years since they've been at that level, Horden.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's not the Horden that it was, is it? It was reformed.
It's a long story. That would be a podcast on its own.
Because we had some fantastic FA Cup games with them over the years, and I forget the name of their goalkeeper. He was a very stocky lad.
Somebody won it.
Yeah, and he sadly passed away. He played against us and then passed away about 2 months later from cancer, like a shock diagnosis. And what a goalkeeper he was. I just remember because he was a big lad and very agile, may I say, and a fantastic goalkeeper. But when we played the replay at Gateshead Stadium, it was very, very foggy.
Yeah, exactly what's coming here.
I remember shouting "Gorilla in the Mist."
And he just
went. I'll go on record and say he probably made one of the best saves I've ever seen in person. His reflexes were unbelievable. But sorry about that.
Yeah. So I'm there tomorrow night at Blue Star for that one. Then obviously Gateshead lunchtime on Saturday, followed by Dunstan's FA Trophy game, and then on Sunday I'm covering Newcastle under 21s against Tottenham. So lots going on.
We've got another one here. Heed Army Adam is it just me or Scunthorpe signed at least 4 ex-Gateshead players: Beck, Bellahoon, Tyrone, Sellers, Fleming, and of course they've got a former loan player as well, Callum Roberts is still there.
Beck's playing, right?
Yeah. So yeah.
And, Taylor Sellers Fleming's goal.
I haven't seen it. I heard he scored on his debut, didn't he?
Good goal.
They've started well. Scunthorpe as well. Haven't they beat York on Wednesday night?
That's been a bit of a surprise package for me. But we'll see how it goes. But Mark, thank you very much for joining us. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Mark.
I'll see you on Saturday. And lads, thank you very much. And everyone, please like and subscribe. It really does go a long way. We just want more people. Oh, sorry, there's another player there as well, Billy Chadwick. Who could forget that Messi-like performance against Dorking Wanderers? And we never seen anything like that again since. But anyway, on that note, everybody, thank you very much. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye, everybody.